Hello and welcome to the Future Report. Today we've got a couple of topics for you. The first one being there's a massive refund going on from Razer. There were some false, sales pitches for their masks. They said that it had N95 grade filters, but it did not. And not only did it not have N95 grade filters, and it was not FDA or how do you say that?
NIOSH.
Yeah. It wasn't NIOSH or FDA approved. It was, and they didn't even try to get it approved. Like there was no record of them trying to get that approved. So they are sending $1.1 million of refunds for their Zephyr masks.
Costly endeavor.
Yeah.
I remember seeing these like about, I don't know, 2.5 years ago, like the gamer. They had the Dyson. They had that like vacuum mask that whatever it was.
Yeah, it like shot it out the ears or something like that.
And like Marquise Brownlee did a video on it, and he completely bashed it for being one of the worst products he's ever reviewed ever on the channel in all, at the time, 12 years. And then this followed suit right like in quick succession after, to come to find out that it's also a pretty garbage product. I think Razer deserves it. You can't make something like this and say that it's... You can't say that it filters 95% of anything.
During the whole mask...
Yeah. It's
the whole mask thing. Like
this is beyond technological failure, and this is just ethics at that point. Like you
and
can't,
they're paying a $100,000 civil fee for it.
and that's part of the 1.1 million. I wrote it wrong. I actually did write that part wrong. It's $1 million and then $100,000. So it's all together they're paying 1.1 million, but out of that 1.1 million, 100,000 of it's the civil fee. But then they were forced to do full refunds, so that jacked the numbers up a lot, because I guess it seems like they moved a lot of these. But like I said, this is an ethics problem. This is not just false. This isn't beyond false advertising. This is endangerment of people's health. So
technically, yeah.
I don't know how it's only $1 million. That's kind of where I'm confused, because during something like that, like a pandemic level national threat, and you've got people selling snakeskin and oil. Snake oil, yeah, okay. I completely butchered that one. But you get the point. Like, I don't see how that's only $1 million, like that being the only amount of...
These were $150 a piece, too.
Oh, you're looking up how much they were?
Yeah.
I mean, pretty damn good sales, but I don't know how... Like I said, I don't know how, for one, only $100,000 fee for lying about a product at that magnitude. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I was trying to find their gross sales.
Pretty brutal. I'm trying to figure out, I think N95 means 95% of, I'm going to look up N95.
Yeah, I'm still finding results that say the Zephyr mask is an N95 grade mask designed by Razer, known for its gaming peripherals.
Are they still selling it? Is it still for sale?
I don't know. It says that they claim that it's an N95 grade. I don't know if they're selling it anymore.
Yeah, NIOSH approval. I think the other thing that's crazy too is that it's not even like they can plead, like they can't even say that it was unintentional, and they can't say that it was, problem with the actual design, because these were never even submitted. This was done intentionally, like it's malicious, which is, again, I don't understand how only at the $100,000 for however many of these masks they sold, even just the liability alone, you would think like for one medical bill could easily cost $100,000. And if someone caught COVID because if the mask was to blame for that, like I said, I'm surprised it's only $100,000. So getting off easy, to be completely honest. But
yeah.
Anyway, there's really not much else to say about this. Razer's kind of a absolutely diabolical move from them to even consider releasing something like this. But
Well, at the release, there's nothing wrong with the release. You can make stuff like this and...
Well, yeah, but if it was if they knew that there were never going to be intentions to submit this to FDA or NIOSH at all, then like it's maybe somewhere down the pipeline they just decided to add N95 on to increase sales because product of the times, maybe. But how hard is it really to make a mask N95 certified?
It's probably really hard.
I'm not into mask manufacturing, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. But anyway, on to one of our main topics. The Microsoft Windows 11 errors that we've been having. There is an update going around that is just failing on everyone's computer. It's, I don't know. So it's just the OX 8007063343.
That's just the error
That's
code you get?
That's just the error code that you get. And it requires a manual fix, and it's not easy to get that fixed. But in my experience, if you're just patient and you don't really care that there's just an update hanging around there, it will update by itself. Like it just updates the update that comes next. So it will update around that. It's not like it's stopping everything. It will take the next update and do that. So it's not super detrimental. It's just super annoying. And I am not the only person that has experienced this. It is a whole problem.
I was just looking into this recently, like as of today, and a couple of comments on the article said that they were disappointed in Microsoft because the issue is that the system partitions on the boot drive aren't sized correctly for some reason. And to fix the error, you need to resize your own partition and then reinstall the update.
Yep.
But you can't expect the average user to know how to do that, for one. And then if it's because it's a Microsoft created problem, the logical solution would be to offer like an automated fix of some kind, which they didn't do.
Yeah, the Windows recovery environment partition is too small for the update to install. So you have to make the it's too small by 250 megabytes. So you have to just resize that by hand.
And you can't expect like your aunt, uncle, or grandmother to know how to do that. So instead of fixing the problem, a couple of I think they were like the community members on the forums who often answers.microsoft, the people who will provide guidance for people who are having Windows technical issues, came forward and said in one post of someone complaining about the issue that there's no tool coming to fix the problem and no script or anything. So you're forced to do it on your own, which is very disappointing.
Yeah, it is by hand. You have to manually do it, and you can't just like keep on pressing the retry button. It just will not work.
Just another thing to add on to the disappointment that is Windows 11 at the moment.
Yep.
And I think since this is like a two-part topic, this is just another kind of nail in Windows 11's coffin, because as it's been kind of demonstrated right now by the market share and just who has what, Windows 10 is still climbing right now in terms of user popularity. And this is a 9-year-old operating system. And it's currently at 70% market share. And Windows 11 is declining.
Yep.
And you found that for me, actually. So I didn't even realize it was that bad. But
yeah, it's at 26%, I think.
As of one day ago, it reached 70%. But as of yesterday, it was at 69%. So 1% in one day.
Nice.
But the thing that's just, it's overall a very disappointing experience. And this article from PC Gamer kind of puts it, I think, words it better than I would. Their quote is, "It's not winning the hearts and minds." And I think that's a really good way of putting it, because that's really what Windows 11 is. Because fundamentally, it's no different than Windows 10, but the features that it offers are supposed to be user-friendly, realistically kind of making the experience smoother and easier to integrate things. But people don't even want it.
Yeah, and it's not really succeeding at that either. Like what we've just seen, you have to manually fix this update. It's not really doing what they set out for it to do, which is making it an easier and better user experience. It's just not working.
Pretty much exactly what my thoughts are on this. The whole Windows 11's critical, I guess, fundamental issue is exactly what you just said. And I think if you look, I think, again, back to this article from PC Gamer, at the very bottom, the author himself even says pretty much what I've been thinking since I've been using Windows 11 for professional work. Unquote, this is Chris. I would love to attempt to pronounce his last name, but I will butcher it. So I will actually link this in the description of the video if you'd like to read it for yourself. It's a nice short article. But he says at the very end, I want an operating system to be the foundation for the apps that I want to run, not the one bloated app to rule them all. So and he says afterwards, I don't use any of the tools that they provide or any of that stuff. Maybe I should go back to Windows 10 too. And I'm in the same boat. I actually have experienced instability, the same update problems in the past. I've had issues with my drivers. And honestly, after using Windows 10 Enterprise, it really is overall, for my needs, a better experience. And I'm tempted to go back to.
Yeah, it's just bloatware. Windows is just bloat.
Well, moving on from that. Let's see. Rabbit R1.
Okay, yep.
Rabbit R1, another disappointing product. So for those of you who don't know what this thing is, I'll put a picture of it. If you're tuning in, definitely check out our YouTube. I put thumbnails and, like I said, I link articles when necessary, so it can make the experience a little better for you. And we also video this, so you can actually watch us talk, which is interesting. So yeah, basically what the Rabbit looks like, for those of you who can't see this, picture a big orange cube. Literally all it is. It's a big orange cube with a scroll wheel on one side and a tiny LCD screen on the left. And basically what it is it has a small rabbit, I guess you could call it like an assistant, but it doesn't really play the role of an assistant. It's kind of just like a friendly face to make the device seem less
intrusive,
techy, or not user friendly. It's kind of there just to give it more of a child friendly vibe almost. And the point of the product is it has a small camera on the Mac. You can point it at things that you want to identify, and then using AI, it will generate results for what that is. So, like, I've seen some memes people were talking about, like the DJ Khaled meme where he goes, and what is this? And what is that?
Yeah.
And what is this? Those are pickled banana peppers. And what is this? And perhaps what is this? Water.
That's kind of all you use this product for, realistically. But it was recently discovered that the firmware and software that this device uses is actually just an Android app that you can download for yourself and use on your phone.
Yeah, so it's basically just like a terrible smartphone.
Yeah, it's a terrible smartphone that gets maybe 3 hours of battery life.
Oh,
maybe.
Listen, if it had good battery life and it was just hanging out for like days, that'd be one thing. Like you clip it on your backpack or something like that, and you just have it whenever you need it. That's one thing. So you don't have to take your phone out.
Like,
of your
I could
pocket.
see this as like a piece of decoration for a room almost. Like if it displayed like a fun wallpaper, but then it also had the secondary function of being able to identify objects and get you results from the internet. That's pretty cool. But it opens an app on startup, and it has a SIM card tray that you have to pay for. Like, it has a SIM card tray for a SIM card that you need to pay for in order for it to function without... I don't know if it connects to Wi-Fi. I actually don't know.
What are you on right now?
I'm on The Verge.
The Verge.
But yeah, the thing with this is that it was supposed to be an answer to the AI pin that nobody liked. It was supposed to be cheaper, do the same thing, if not more, and then be more user-friendly. And then it's revealed that it really is just an Android phone that isn't actually a phone.
Yeah.
So $200. I mean, it turns on and does the thing that it says it's supposed to do.
Yeah, that's crazy. $200 for this thing is crazy.
I don't know. I can't get behind that. And it also only comes in one color, incredibly orange.
Bright orange.
So, yeah, I mean, if it fits your aesthetic, then
cool.
I'm glad for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also unreleased. Like half of the features that it released with aren't even in the package yet. I watched a Marquise Brownlee put it laid out all of the features that it's missing. It's supposed to integrate with all of your music streaming, all of your calls and emails, different APIs. You can like train it to do things that you would normally do by hand. Like if you receive an email from this person, relay it to these people and like train it yourself. So it does exactly what you need it to do.
Okay.
None of that does it, any of it right now. Like it doesn't exist.
All right, so everything that it's supposed to do
isn't there. It's just Siri in a box right now, and it's slow.
Okay.
For $200.
Yeah,
it's just the inverted development. It's the inverted development pipeline that we're seeing, where instead of design your product and release it, and then iterate
have
on
other
it
people
later,
design your product while you release it.
Pretty much.
Just release it to the public and get criticized, and then fix the things that they want you to fix.
Sell it, then build it later. Basically, is what it is.
Like games.
Like games.
Don't pay people to play your game and have a bug fixer.
Have people
have
pay
people
for the beta.
play your game.
Have people buy the broken pre-alpha.
Yeah.
Works for me. Hey, I like that design practice.
Speaking of games, we've actually got an NVidia release. They released a script that simplifies getting Geforce Now on the Valve Steam Deck. So it's pretty cool just because you want that more... I'm stumbling over my words. Remote cloud gaming is like what we want to see with this type of thing, because you want to have almost like a server host, just your desktop computer, and you can bring your Steam Deck anywhere and still have the power of that computer behind it.
And it's not pulling from the Steam Deck itself.
Yeah, and that's in turn it uses less battery as well. So you've got longer gameplay at higher performance, just cloud gaming, which it's pretty cool, and it's not super straightforward. The script that they released downloads Google Chrome, and it enables the gamepad use. So
okay.
it's kind of like a workaround, but it works right now, and you are going to have to change some of the controls. I think this is from The Verge as well. You have to change the value of the current button to the gamepad with mouse trackpad or something like that. I don't know. It's a little bit of a workaround, and unfortunately I don't have one of these to test it on, but maybe in the future we can grab something like this.
Steam Deck videos would be fun.
Yes, it would.
Editing a podcast on a Steam Deck would be also very fun. Resolve is available on Linux, so I mean, it's not technically impossible. It could be done, but not sure how that would work on the battery.
Probably not great at all.
35 minutes. Let's see, what else do we have?
I think you've got the last topic.
I think I did. I did have the last topic, but it was kind of the joint topic. Let me check.
What about the Threadripper?
Yeah, there was the AMD Threadripper one, which it's right here. There it is. So this is from the Register. This is AMD's data center division. So not Ryzen, but they're very similar in like the way that they're kind of approaching the market.
Yep.
Right now, their sales have surged 80% in Q1, and it's just their data center revenue. It's hoping to make at least $4 billion from its GPUs this year. This is AMD. But shares took a hit as this failed to impress market analysis. They reported revenue for Q1 2024 of $5.47 billion, up 2% on the same quarter a year ago. It's a little bit lukewarm, but they're saying this is going to be about the midpoint of this quarter, so they're not really anticipated to do much more than this, but it's still good. Let me see. I think I'll give my take on this. I think the reason that AMD is doing so well is that Intel's currently doing so poorly. I don't think it's really that AMD is doing so well on its own, like on its own 2 feet. I think it's partially benefiting from the fact that Xeon has not been in a good place for a while.
Yeah, it's more that they don't have the competition. That's why they're succeeding.
I've heard there are some limited rumors about new Xeons coming out that are supposed to have much more dense core counts, tighter timings, more PCI lanes, like all the things that you would expect from a data center. But we have no details as of right now. So it's kind of just Threadripper in their own lane doing what they always do. Just add cores, add clock speed, add PCIe lanes. So it's not like anything insanely impressive. The 96 core Threadripper is definitely insanely impressive, and it has been since it was released, I think 7 months ago, but something like that. But
yeah, that's insanely impressive. The fact that we're almost at 100 cores on something that's technically consumer.
And at these clock speeds is really where it's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to look up which Threadripper that is because I wanted to get the clock speeds on it. It's the 7995WX. That's the one. I think one of the other
7995WX.
Yes. I think one of the things with this too, though, is I think that's also contributing a little bit to the lukewarm kind of status of this market is that high-end desktop HEDT, there you go. The high-end desktop market, I don't think is quite as in high demand as it was, because if you really think about it, like even an i9 technically has 24 cores, and for most people, I don't think you need more than that.
No.
And then even if you did, the price alone to get into Threadripper by itself, just not even at this scope of a 7995WX, a beast, a monster.
Yeah, this operates at 2.5 gigahertz and can boost one of its cores up to 5.1, providing enough cooling. And 4.8 gigahertz on all cores is a 92% overclock, and it's possible.
And according to AMD's own product page, 384 megabytes of L3 cache, and it's unlocked for overclocking. Normal for AMD.
I wonder when we're going to see a gig of cache. I wonder if that's ever going to happen.
I feel like the Blackwell GPUs from NVidia have a gig of cache just alone, I think, effectively. I remember reading up on how much cache that thing has. I believe it, let's see. Okay, it's memory. I'm sorry, it's different. The Blackwell has 192 gigabytes of HBM3E memory. So it's 24 gigs VRAM across an 8192-bit bus. If you thought 192 wasn't enough for your needs, introducing 8192 for the few of us who could possibly even think about using that much.
Tech Radar says, hold on a second. It says that AMD broke 1 gig of cache on their EPYC CPU. Genoa X will fill in the same gap as a Milan X, taking advantage of the die stacking 3D V cache, and offered upwards of 1 gigabyte L3 cache per socket. Oh my goodness. More than any x86 based chip currently on the market.
But can it play Crysis?
Nah.
Can it run Minecraft?
No way.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Minecraft with full shaders?
Minecraft with the 8,000 render distance? No?
Not me. Nope.
Guess we'll have to swing back around next year and see if it's gotten any better.
Yeah. Contact me when it's 64 gigs.
64 gigs of cache. Then it might be able to run Cyberpunk. Might be able to.
Yeah. Give me a Crysis V2 by then.
They did the remaster, but it didn't really garner a lot of attention. It's kind of a benchmarking game. People don't really play it. It's kind of just there to stress test hardware, as far as I know. I didn't hear anything about it when it came out. We had one more. I know we had one more topic.
I think you had another topic.
Pretty sure I just had that one. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. I said all three of the topics that I had.
Then I guess I just have dementia. I forgot. Let's see. I had one search on here, but it was for a Core Ultra that we already talked about. So not very interesting. We should actually follow up on the X Elite, though. I actually did mean to do that, the Snapdragon, because there are rumors that it's actually performing significantly worse than what we originally thought. And that was something that, let's see. See if I can't find actual hardware. I think Puget was supposed to be the people, Puget Labs, Puget Systems, here it is. They're supposed to be testing the chips, and they're people that I trust for this, but Elite.
Puget.
Let's see. So the follow-up was, let's see where it actually sits. So what they're saying based on hands-on experience, if I can find this is off of Thurrott.com or Thurrott.com. Let's see. So they're saying it's... So basically it is hit or miss performance-wise against the M3 base right now from Apple. Yep. So certain benchmarks it'll do a little better, and then in a lot of benchmarks it'll fall right behind. So that's actually way better than I actually thought. I thought that it would be kind of like real world, it would kind of fall a good 5 or 6% lower than what the company said. But they're saying that it performs in most tests within 8 or 9% of an M3. Though there are huge downsides to this, and I will mention that. Apple will have way better integration for more apps that you'll actually use, and battery life will be better on an Apple computer still. So that's not being touched right now.
Yeah, because it draws so little power.
Well, it's not even so little power. It's that Apple has top-down control of the entire system. Whereas no matter what, even if Microsoft works directly with Snapdragon, ARM developers, and everybody to try to get this to work, there's so many moving parts in getting everything to work correctly that...
I didn't know that Qualcomm made laptops.
They make phones and laptops, believe it or not. When they make a new Snapdragon, they will release a reference phone that'll have all of the features that the Qualcomm Snapdragon chip for that year will support. So that way companies can base their models off of that.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting. I actually wanted to get one for the first, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, the benchmark phone. I kind of wanted one, but I don't think you can even get your hands on one. I'm trying to find the actual benchmark numbers.
The Razer, the Razer Edge, the G Cloud, and the Pocket S all use Snapdragons. The G Cloud uses the 720G. Man, the G Cloud looks goofy. It looks like an iPad with an enclosure on it.
Like a cage around it?
You gotta
believe it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here are some performance numbers. Snapdragon X Elite performance in Geekbench 6. So single core, it throws a 2574, and then in multi-core, it manages a 12562. Directly below it is the Ryzen 9 7940HS, which has a score of 2475. So less than 100 points difference, I believe.
I had this.
Did you have this?
I had this up last time we did this.
I believe we had something. Are you sure we had that exact benchmark? Because I thought we had.
It was from Geekbench 6.
Bench 6. I want to see where the M3 gets then, because we can score this versus the M3. Apple M3 for Geekbench 6. Because this will be where we can actually get the results. Here we go. So, Geekbench 6, M3, and then the one that I just had.
By the way, it's AMD's 55th anniversary.
Oh, really?
Yep.
As of today, the 2nd of May?
I believe so. No, July 1st, apparently.
Oh, it's coming up. I wonder why they're announcing it so early.
I don't know. I just, 1 hour ago, Guru 3D said on July 1st.
Okay, so I was actually pretty close with my estimates here. So, Snapdragon X Elite, so like I said, 2574.
Yep.
M3 from Apple, 3065.
Okay.
So it's about 500, or it's like 490 points lower or so. And then in multi-core, the Snapdragon is a 12562, and the M3 is an 11959. So in multi-core, the Snapdragon actually clears by about 1,000 points.
That's
roughly.
crazy.
So I think the other thing here that we have to remember too is I think Apple MacBooks are, especially the Air. This is a MacBook Air. They're built for short bursty tasks, and they're not really designed for heavy multi-core workloads at all, just from the cooling alone on the laptop. So maybe a better cooled M3 would do better.
Well,
I'm actually going to use this tissue.
MacBooks would do considerably better if they had better cooling, because they are like 3 millimeters tall.
I've always wondered why Apple doesn't just include the like the copper shim adjustment to add just a little bit of height to that heatsink.
Yeah,
because there have been so many
by
instances
default.
where, like, sure, your chassis does run a little hotter, but the cooling itself to the chip is better. Your benchmarks are better. The fans, if it has a fan, which a lot of these don't, but for the ones that have fans, the fan is quieter. I feel like the benefits outweigh the cost. I'm okay with my laptop feeling a little hot if it performs just fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, not much else to say about the Snapdragon X Elite. I think real world performance, like I said before, these things are using a compatibility layer, so that way it can communicate with apps that are x86,
Yep.
but then process them through ARM. And it does that kind of like the Rosetta system on Apple, which does the same exact thing from Intel and PowerPC to Apple Silicon.
It's always gonna be like premature results from these things. So we'll see if how realistic they are once they're actually.
Exactly. I guess I'll just drop an estimation then. I estimate that the performance of the Snapdragon probably won't match the MacBook for a while, until the software catches up. I think that'll be maybe like 1 to 2 years.
We'll
probably.
see.
Depending on how good this compatibility layer is. I think that's really where the performance is. Kind of like the AMD or the Intel drivers for ARC. I think it's a lot of the same, where whenever you have a compatibility layer, it'll work, but there's always loss in that process of emulating something like that. But good indication for the future of where we're going with these. Want me to close this out?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, check out our YouTube. We'll have links to our website and our Discord there for you. And then that's about it. You should check out our website at gameraytech.com. We have PC deals there all the time. And we will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.